rendezvous, trade fights for better views. We both need something new. Maybe we should just tell them.
Hello, hive-minded readers, and welcome to the Books and the Bees podcast. Just like bees play a crucial role in pollinating flowers and sustaining life, books pollinate minds and nurture the soul. We see the connection between the two, the delicate dance of ideas and stories that enrich our lives.
I'm Cody.
I'm Hailey.
Welcome to our podcast.
Hello.
Welcome. Hello. We're it's crazy because we're recording on Tuesday this time.
We are.
A little bit different. And then we're recording again tomorrow.
Yes.
Because we have a little bit of a scheduling, so it's going to be back-to-back recording days.
Yes, we're going to be a couple of mad lads.
Yeah, we are. Yep. Yeah, so if any crazy, I was just thinking about this, if any crazy reading situation happens, we're going to be 2 weeks behind because we won't be able to record it. So if Ernest Hemingway comes back from the dead, then we won't be able to talk about it until 2 weeks later.
Him and Edgar Allan Poe just come back. They're like, "What's up?"
Yeah. You know what? I would love it though if Edgar Allan Poe came back.
Yeah.
He was a pretty weird dude. I'd love to have a cup of tea with him, honestly.
Yeah, I need some emo poetry renderings. I wonder what he would think of poetry slams.
Oh, I think he'd love it.
I think that'd be hilarious.
I think he would be so into it. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, he would love it.
Hell yeah.
Now we need to make it happen. Now we just need to make this happen.
Yeah, hello science, can you bring back Edgar Allan Poe just this once?
I don't know. Okay, I don't know if I want to put this on the pod or not, but I'm still in New York. I went to Alexander Hamilton's grave because I'm a big Hamilton fan. Got to go see the grave. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking on the way home, I was like, what would he think of our country today? And then I kind of continued the thought, and I was like, what if we generated AI beings for all the founding fathers based on all their writings and everything? And they took over the country, and we let them rule the country as AI founding fathers. And that is a story that I think I want to develop into either a short story or a novel, depending on how it goes. Because I think it'd be fucking crazy as shit.
That'd be cool as hell.
We could do that with the girl. Yeah, wouldn't it be fun? I think it'd be interesting.
That'd be cool.
I would love to know what George Washington would say. He'd probably be like, "You guys are fucking dumb. This is shit."
Yeah, and that's outside of the culture shock of being in the future and I don't know, having dental care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I want to talk about the lie that we were all told as children that he had wooden teeth. That wasn't a thing. Not real.
Yeah.
But thanks history books.
No.
Appreciate it. Appreciate the misinformation.
Yeah. It's even worse because it was wasn't it slaves' teeth? He took teeth from slaves and turned it into dentures. I mean, I'm sure he didn't do it personally. I'm sure somebody did it for him. But that's fucked up and gross. That's just for one disgusting. Other people's teeth in your mouth. No, thank you.
Right? No, thank you. That's crazy.
Forget the morality of it. The morality of it's terrible. We shouldn't forget the morality of it. But someone else's teeth in your mouth, no matter who they are, is disgusting. Yeah.
Just, oh, God. Yeah. Ugh. And also, the fact that they would literally be, in the future, and then, I don't know, would Alexander Hamilton, jeez. I could never work in Broadway. I'd never be able to pronounce his name. But imagine him coming, or even okay, also that sentence, that phrase in itself, let's not, that was weird. Just imagine him being in the future and the other people that I don't remember the names of all of them coming back and what would they think of our judicial system too? And they'd be like, you have Supreme Court justices and checks and balances. What is this? What if they were like, this is not the country we envisioned. We wanted more anarchy, less structure. What's going on?
Yeah.
Who's to
Yeah,
say?
no, I was totally thinking about that. I was like, what would Alexander Hamilton think of like the national debt and like the healthcare crisis, like
Yeah.
all of that. It's crazy to think about just how
Lobbying?
different the country is.
Yeah.
Lobbying, yeah, lobbying.
He'd be like, what
Uh,
the fuck? You
yeah,
guys
the
take
way the
bribes?
like electoral colleges.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Oh, the Bill Clinton scandal. I mean,
Yeah.
it
Oh
would
my
be
god.
crazy.
That'd be
Yeah. Oh, I
wild.
love it. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, don't steal my idea, listeners, please. I want to work this. So
Uh,
I'll let you know if I end up writing it. But yeah,
yeah.
it was something that came to my head the other day.
Copywritten, trademarked
Yeah.
right now.
Trademarked. Yep. This is my property.
Yeah.
Date marked
Intellectual.
July 30th, the day we're
Yes.
recording this.
Yes, intellectual property. Can't steal it. No takesies backsies.
Yeah. No takesies back. That's exactly right. But it was really cool. Like his grave is it's pretty cool looking. His wife is also there, and his son who died. If you know the musical, his son dies before him and his wife. He gets shot in a duel trying to defend Alexander Hamilton's honor, and so he's buried at the same cemetery, but they didn't keep good enough records, or the stone got broken or degraded, and so they don't know where he's buried
Oh shit.
in the cemetery. And so there's just a plaque of just talking about him
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And that's how a lot of the graves were. Like there was like maybe 70% of the graves were just stone slabs that had been completely eroded,
Hmm.
and you couldn't read anything on them. And I was like, man, that's so sad.
Eh.
This was a person who had a family, and now no one knows who they are. Probably. I mean, maybe some people do. They like catalog it or whatever, but
Mhm.
I don't. Can't see the name.
Yeah, that's crazy, but also cool.
Yeah, it was fun. It was like I wasn't sure I was gonna go because it's kind of far away from where I'm at, but
Mhm.
it's like, you know what? I'm not gonna throw away my shot line for the musical. Got to put that in, and it's like I'm just gonna go do it, and I'm totally glad I did because it was really cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Are you gonna go to like Broadway at all while you're there?
Yes, my wife and I are gonna go see Wicked
Oh,
on
nice.
Saturday. Yeah,
That's so exciting. I hope
Yeah.
it's awesome. I'm sure it will be.
I hope so too. I think it'll be fun for sure.
Man.
Yeah, love musicals. I'm a big musical fan, so can't wait.
Mm-hmm. I'm like a little low-key jealous.
Yeah, but you're not really a musical person,
No, not
so
really.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a type of music you have to enjoy. I think for sure.
Mhm. Yes, I'm more so, more than my husband. My husband detests musicals, but I don't mind it for the most part. It
Yeah.
really depends, though. Some of them I'm like, meh. But like,
There are
Sweeney
some
Todd, I love Sweeney
Not
Todd.
good ones. I love Sweeney Todd. That's Sweeney Todd is what got me into musicals. I'll
Oh,
say
really?
that. Sweeney Todd got me into musicals. Yeah,
High School Musical.
the Johnny Depp version. Yeah,
Yeah, the Johnny Depp version slaps.
Yeah.
High School Musical is
I did not like High School Musical.
Really? See, I love
I
High
did
School
not like
Musical.
High School.
But I was also like a teen. No, I was a teenager at the time, so
Yeah, yeah.
it was all about it.
It was very popular. Like we talked about Twilight last week in our podcast, and yeah, like High School Musical was another one of those very very cultish kind of followings.
It was very
Yeah,
very culty.
yeah, it was. It was. Yeah. So what do you say we get into what we're reading?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, Haley, what are you reading?
I'm reading another free find on my Apple bookstore, and
Let's go.
yeah, and it's like good so far. I'm not very far into it, but it's called Cupcakes, Trinkets, and Other Deadly Magic by the author. I'm gonna probably butcher your name. I'm so sorry. It's Meghan Ciana, or I'm gonna say it's probably like Ciana. Doidge. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. My apologies.
Looks right, I think.
When I was reading it, it reminded me of the Doge, but yeah.
The Doge.
Doge, yes. And if our listeners don't know what I'm referring to that Shiba Inu meme from many years ago. R.I.P.
Yep.
Also, that poor puppy. But yeah, it's like it seems like it's gonna be like a fantasy type of book. So far, it's reading pretty well. Sometimes those free books can be really hit or miss, but it's really good so far. It's vampire, witches kind of vibes. I'm here for it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That sounds great.
yeah.
It's got a good name too, like the Cupcakes, Trinkets, and Other Deadly Magic. Like that's a title that you remember for
Yeah.
sure.
Hell yeah. And it's got like hella books in its series. So,
Oh, good.
I mean, I'm guessing that means that it's really good. So,
Yeah. No, it sounds really good. I love it.
what book are you getting into, Cody?
Yeah, I could jump into it. So the book I actually just finished this, I think 2 days ago, and it's Days at the Morisaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yagisawa, which is a book that was written in Japanese, I think back in like 2009, and it was recently translated by Eric Ozawa, I think is how you pronounce his name. And this was very similar to the book that I read back in like February called Welcome to the Hyunang Dawn Bookshop, I think is what the name of that one was. Very much a casual, cozy bookstore story about a girl who finds out that her boyfriend is actually engaged to another woman, and she's been the side piece for the whole relationship.
Oh.
And yeah, tough. And they dated for like 2 years too, so it was like intense. And I think maybe the guy had a kid or his fiance was pregnant. Like it was pretty dirty. And so they work together at the same place. And so
Yikes.
she quits her job. Yeah. Yeah. So she quits her job and she ends up working at the bookstore that her uncle owns, which is called the Morisaki Bookshop. And it's in this town in Japan, which I didn't write it down. I don't remember it off the top of my head. But apparently it's a legit place. And it's known as having the most bookstores like by density. And apparently it's got like, they said like 1,000 maybe bookstores like in this
Wow.
area. And it's just like an endless line of used bookstores. And so they have one. She ends up working at it part-time. And the story just kind of revolves around that and her moving on from that crappy relationship. And her uncle he's also going through some turmoil that I won't get much more specific into to save the spoilers. But it's a very quick book. I think it's like 200 and some odd pages, like 220. Like it's almost a novella. And I was lucky enough. I got it from the library as like I don't even know what they call it, but it had little 4-leaf clover on the hold.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you can skip the line if you check this out right now and read it within 7 days. And I was like, well, I'll do that. I'll skip the line.
Yeah.
And so I read it super quick. Really great book. And there's a sequel that I think came out this year called More Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. And so I'm very excited to read the sequel when that comes out. Or it's come out already when I get it on hold at the library.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's very cozy. It checks off a box for my own reading goals this year is reading more translated work. And so this one is checking off that category. And it's just really good. Like it was super fun. If you like bookstores, and I think everybody who likes books likes bookstores, so you can't miss it. Check it out because it's good.
Wow, that sounds so good and like really juicy and like drama filled. Sounds good.
Yeah, it was a little bit like the first 20 or so pages are like, oh god, this is heavy.
Dang.
But it's good. It's a very warm story, I would say.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy those like bookshop books. They are, especially because I've been reading. I'm sure our listeners have been paying attention. I read I've been reading a shit ton of horror lately, and so it's nice to kind of get out of that world for just a second.
Yeah.
Because it can be pretty dark
Yeah.
if you just read horror back to back. So
Yeah.
yeah, nice in between.
For those of our listeners who like read only horror, I'd like to pick their brains and be like, how do you how do you like read only horror, you know?
Yeah, it's I mean, I think horror is probably my favorite genre,
Mm-hmm.
but I got to put in some sci-fi, some fantasy, some romance. Like I definitely need to rotate through a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Should we jump into beekeeping?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so for beekeeping, we're just going to cover the things that we've already mentioned, and we're very excited to announce that we are doing a co-read for August, as we said before. It's an Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson, and we have the reading order for us. So for the last two episodes of August, we are going to cover the first 15 chapters, 30 chapters total in the book. We're going to cover the first 15 chapters. So for the first week, we'll read up through chapter 15,
Mm-hmm.
which will be the episode. I'm pulling up the calendar to get the date. Will be the episode that comes out on the 20th of August.
Okay.
And then we will finish the book up through chapter 30 on the 27th of August.
Yes.
So yeah, we will cover it. I'm very excited to read it. I actually
Mhm.
got it from the library. I'm probably going to start it a little bit early to make sure I can get it done. But it sounds really good, so I'm super excited to try it out.
Hell yeah. And I haven't gotten mine yet, but I did just look on my Kindle because I finally charged my Kindle. Actually, my husband did, so shout out to my husband for doing that. Thank you.
Hey.
But the Kindle price, so it's not on Kindle Unlimited, but you can purchase it for $14.99, which it looks like it's discounted. Says the print list price is $29, so you at least get a little bit of a discount. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. So yeah, read it with us. We're very excited. We'll talk about it, next week for sure. And yeah, I think it's gonna be really good. It's like a dark academia, vampire romance. I hear it's got a little bit of BDSM in it.
Ooh.
So check content warnings if that's not your thing. But yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be a good book.
Hell yeah. I'm excited.
Me too. So yeah, check that out.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention again, we also still have the Goodreads group. So if you want to go on to Goodreads and follow us or join our group, if you just type in Books and Bees podcast, you'll find us. We'd love to have you join up on there. And it does actually show, I set it up to show that we are reading An Education in Malice. And I started a discussion group. So if you want to talk about the book as we go through it, you can put it on that discussion board and chat about it. We'll hop on there and chat with you because we'd love to have you there. So yeah, super great.
Hell yeah.
We're excited about it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. And Haley, I believe you have some beekeeping that's very, very exciting to talk about.
Yeah, I do. And this is like fairly recent, probably not so recent at when our listeners will be listening to this, but the buzz around the Bookstagram is that somebody, I don't know who, but apparently influencer on Bookstagram was distributing an ARC copy around without obviously the author's consent. Which, I'm sure that's probably some sort of legal something or other.
Yeah.
Which also, like, just shame on them. That's not cool. Like, when we for our listeners that maybe don't know what ARCs are, it's accelerated reader copies. You can do them through a lot of different places, but, like, we go through NetGalley. And I don't know where this book was ARCed from. I don't know if it was a physical copy. I don't know if it was a digital copy, because there are different mediums in which you can do ARCs. And some authors will give out physical ARC copies, which is really cool. But yeah, apparently this person was just like throwing it all up in the air and letting people see because like there's a like trust that happens there when you like create an account, go on to these websites, and then ask for an accelerated reader copy. And obviously there's still like consent given that you like are not supposed to distribute it, blah blah blah. But to just like completely ignore that and then do such an awful thing, like I can't imagine. And that poor author, right? Like, you know, they probably were like ready to, you know, get feedback and stuff, and instead they got news that their copy was being distributed. And I don't know what the book was. Hard to tell what it like what the
I was gonna ask.
yeah no one said.
That's
Couldn't figure it out, but
that's
yeah,
that's messed up.
Yeah,
That's messed up.
it's messed up.
Because, you know, we, for one, like, the goal of the arc is to make hype about the book. And so if you're giving the book away for free, basically, which, you know, by the way, the arcs that we get, they're not the completed version. They you know, some of them have errors, typing errors, you know, so all that gets fixed. Some of it has formatting issues, especially for like the electronic versions. They have some formatting issues. They can be complicated. So like it's not, and I don't know how you read your arcs, Ailey, but mine, when I put on my Kobo, like the formatting is really different, and I have to like edit the size of the text very dramatically, and there's always like some weirdness that's going on with it. So it's not like the most conducive way. It's not the pretty way that when you get an ebook, you can like just open it and read it. At least not for me. And so, like, it's not a great way to read the book, but it is a good way to like get, you know, be able for have us talk about it on our social media pages and on the podcast. So yeah, it shouldn't be distributed. I think they probably could get into some trouble. At the very least, they probably won't get any more arcs anymore.
Yeah.
Especially if their name like gets officially leaked and stuff like that, because publishers they do pay attention to that, and they do pay attention to when we don't submit reviews to arcs too. So
yeah,
like it's definitely like it's work to read the arc for sure.
It is work, and most of us, I'm assuming, don't get paid for it. So
yeah,
you know, it's all free, all like, you know, kind of Scout's honor, to be honest, where you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna freaking, because I have, and you, well, I'm not entirely sure, I'd have to double check this, but I still have like the books on my phone, essentially, just like ones that have already been released, some that are waiting to be released, but they're no longer in arc like anymore. And I can just go in and like they're downloaded, you know. So like
mine are a little different. It must be the format that I use, because I have to like update it through Adobe to put it on my e-reader.
Oh.
For those who use a Kobo, I think you know what I'm talking about. And it actually archives the same day that you that it archives in NetGalley. And so once it's archived in NetGalley, then I can't open it anymore. I learned that the other day, which is fine, because, you know, if I want to read it, I'll just buy it like I should. But yeah, there's trust for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely trust. Well, and like you have it for however many days are in between that like cutoff. So if you get an arc super early, you have that on your person for a while. One of mine I think is like 54 days or some 45 days I have to read a couple of my arcs.
Yeah, mine are usually like that too. Yeah.
So, you know, and they don't come out for a while. So that's, you know, there's a lot of trust, and like, you know, that sucks for the author that has to go through that and is dealing with the fallout of all of that.
Yeah, I know that there was some flack a couple of years ago, and it was more about the physical ones, because for like bookstores and really popular, you know, bookstagram people, they tend to get the physical ones, and then those take up space in your house. So what do you do with them?
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't give them to other people, but there have been situations where bookstores will have like an arc section where they put them out and then they sell them for like a couple bucks. And now that's even more fucked up, because Now you're really profiting off of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not the format of the final book. It might not even be the same cover. It
Yeah.
might be a completely different cover. So yeah, it's not cool.
Yeah, that's messed up.
So don't buy an ARC if you see it in the wild,
Mm-hmm.
because the author, for one, doesn't get any money for it, and don't download an ARC if you haven't been given permission by the publisher, because you're stealing. You are stealing their property,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not cool.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not cool.
But yeah, that's my beekeeping. That was pretty hot off the press, pretty hot topic. So
Yeah, I hadn't heard about it, so I'm glad you brought it up.
yeah, it was. Honestly, the only reason why I saw it was because it was in like, people were posting in their stories on Instagram, like, just so the authors know, like, I would never do this, like, we stand in solidarity, blah, blah, you know, that sort of thing. And that's where I kind of saw it, and I was like, what the hell? And then I clicked on another person's profile who had, like, shared a little bit more information. So I was essentially, like, playing telephone on the Instagram
Man,
stories.
Wow. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, that's tough. So yeah, don't do that. Not good.
No plan.
Yeah. Well, so today's episode is a very exciting episode. I'm very excited to talk about this because I think we're going to have a lot to chat about. It is book worlds that we want to live in, whether that's a single year book or a series or anything kind of bookish related. Book worlds we want to live in, and we have a lot of overlap, which is pretty exciting, obviously, because we do have pretty decent overlap in our wheelhouse, I would say, at least when it comes to fantasy. And so, yeah, we each have kind of picked some different books / series that the worlds that we would love to live in. And so I'm really excited to talk about it. Do we want to talk about the first one that we share?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. First one, I think this is an easy one right out of the jump. Lord of the Rings, baby. How can you not want to live in this world?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Man, I would just love it.
I think it'd be so fun, and I feel like you would never, like, even if you were living in, like, I don't know, as a hobbit, you would still have, like, cool adventure shit to do. Because, like, it seems like they're more, like, living off the land type of situation, like, and, caveat, I've never read the books, so I'm purely going off of the movies. But, I think that'd be a sick-ass world to live in, and, like, I don't know, what kind of character would you want to be? Like, what kind of... I was just going to ask you that. I know this is cliche, because I feel like this is probably a favorite, but being an elf where you live for eternity, it's kind of hard to beat. If I could pick this, I don't know if this counts, but I would love to be a wizard too. Hell yeah.
The wizards are really cool. I love Gandalf. I think an elf would be my pick. What about you?
Honestly, same. Or potentially a dwarf. I think a dwarf would be kind of cool.
Yeah, dwarf would be cool.
Mainly because, and I'm pulling from the Hobbit movies, but just kind of the, like, mining, like, kind of, that just looked really cool. And they're, like, little towns, villages, whatever, civilizations that they create looks so freaking epic and, like, so creative hands down, just such a fun-ass world to live in. And it's like, I mean, for the most part, obviously during the time of the ring, it's not peaceful, but largely it's a very peaceful world. And like you're saying, hobbits, they basically spend their day eating and hanging out and drinking at night. Like, how could you beat that? I would love to be a hobbit. I think that'd be fun. So, like, yeah, it's just, I love the world of Lord of the Rings, the Middle Earth. The books are really good, The dwarves are really great too. Have you watched the Rings of Power series? No. And I was very excited for the series, and then I think we watched like 2 episodes, and I couldn't get hooked. I was too bored. No offense. It's different. Yeah,
Yeah, it's different.
yeah.
But there is like there is kind of a dwarfish component to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Probably like halfway through the first season. I think there's another one coming, but it hasn't been released yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I really did like kind of their interpretation of the dwarves, and you get to see inside a dwarf home, like
Oh,
a
that's cool.
wife and husband and kids. And yeah, I really liked it. I thought like the aesthetic was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I love about the Hobbit homes that they would show is the aesthetic. Like they just look so cozy. So I don't know. It just and honestly, like being an elf and like having some sort of like sick ass power, hell yeah, sign me up. Or even just
100%.
like a master marksman of like arrow, hell yeah, also sign me up.
Yep.
Also, their swords are really cool. Like you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
if they didn't want us to
Yeah,
become
and they're
that race, then they
yeah.
would like, or fantasize about becoming that race. They wouldn't have made it so cool. So,
Yeah. And like yeah, there's so much like the elves have this very highbrow culture,
mhm.
and they're around for every significant event in history. So yeah, there's a lot of things to like about that. Yeah, Lord of the Rings, I think that's one I think almost everybody would pick.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's such a cool world. Such a cool world. Yeah. The other one that we kind of have shared, but it's more of yours. I don't have it officially as part of mine.
Mhm.
Do you want to talk about your next one?
Yeah. So the next one would be ACOTAR. Surprise, surprise.
Let's go. Let's go.
I mean, uh, for those who have read the books, if you know, you know. For those that haven't, I mean, for the most part, it's like, I mean, I guess it depends on what you are, right? Like, if you're like part of the like Fae, then
Hmm.
you're kind of gonna be in your own world, and if you're not Fae, you're also gonna be in your own world. Um, Full disclosure, I would fucking hate being a human. No, thank you.
Me
Put me in the
too.
Fae
Me
world.
too.
Uh,
Yeah.
like, what's the point of being a character in that book if you're not gonna be a Fae? Just
Yeah.
saying.
No, no, no. You gotta be the Fae.
Yeah.
Gotta be the Fae.
Because basically, like, if you're human, if you're not noble, you're fucked. Like, you're living in the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
So, like, no, thank you. Um,
You're gonna die a terrible death in
yeah,
your 20s.
yeah, exactly. You're not gonna live very long. You're not gonna have plumbing, most likely. Which, like, that was a
Not gonna have
big
plumbing.
that was a big thing for me when I was picking which worlds I would want to live in. Because if there's no plumbing, I'm out. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Which like in the Fae world, it wasn't really disclosed very much. Like I don't remember. It seemed like depending on which also spoilers if you haven't read ACOTAR, like skip ahead because I'm gonna talk a little bit more about like the intricacies of ACOTAR. So like yeah, or go read it. It's a good series. But I would want to live in maybe one of the more like it seems like modernized realms. I don't remember what they're the seasons, I guess. Because each house or peoples is broken up into seasons, and then you have like day court, night court, you have winter court,
Yeah.
fall court, spring court, blah blah blah. And like each court you get to see like cool other Fae type people or whatever, which is really cool, and I would think that that'd be fun in and of itself. I wouldn't
Yeah.
Okay, but further more into that train of thought, if you could live in ACOTAR and let's say you were put in one of the courts, which court would you want to live in?
So this is gonna be a little bit of a shock, I think. Because I think I would love to live in the Spring Court if Tamlin is not the leader of it, right? Because I mean, the Spring Court is very pretty.
Yeah.
It has a lot. I love springtime,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it'd be really fun. We don't really learn a whole lot about the Fall Court outside of
Yeah.
Lucian's like
Mm-hmm.
thing, and I really do like Lucian. I was actually going to say Summer Court, and now I'm talking myself into Fall Court because I loved it in the third book, and again, sorry, we're kind of being spoilery. When they all meet together for that one conference to like talk about the battle,
Yes.
I was like, I'm so interested in all these different people that we've never met before,
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the summer court because the guy was just so unhinged,
Yes.
and the like court palace was right on the beach, and I was like, man, I would love to be on the beach all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was described as super tan and muscular, and I was like, man, that'd be really cool because I'm chubby and super pale, and I can't go to the beach without wearing like 3 different layers of sunscreen. But the fall court, I love fall. I think it would be so cool
Mm-hmm.
to have the season of fall all year round.
Yeah.
So maybe I'd pick the fall court.
Yeah. I would pick the fall court if and only if Lucian's father was not the king
Yeah, yeah, so
or the
true.
lord
That's
or
so true.
whatever. No, thank you.
Yeah,
The whole family's a hot mess.
it's fucked up over there. Yeah,
It's messy over there. But like aesthetics wise, maybe as like a normal, like regular, fae person, sure. I would pick probably summer court. Would be probably like really cool. And that okay, remind me though, because I can't remember. Is that Helios's court, or is he,
I can't remember his name.
or was that
Yeah, no, I think it
court?
is because he's the one that wanted like a threesome kind of
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah,
Is that
he was
right?
hot.
Yeah, I think
He
it
was
was
hot.
him. Yeah.
He was hot. I want to be in the summer court, and I want to be in his court. I want to be a noble person in his court. That's what I want. Specifically that.
Yeah. It was either him or it was, and I know the listeners who have read the series probably are screaming at us right now.
I
It
know.
was either him or it was the, it might have been the day court guy.
The day court. I see it. I can't remember now, and it's gonna drive me nuts. Sorry, I'm gonna reach up.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I have to grab my
Haley's
charger.
gonna look it up.
Yes, and first I'm gonna grab my charger from my laptop because it's gonna die.
Oh, she's grabbing a charger, then she's gonna look it up.
I'm not trying to
yeah.
have my shit die. So
But it's a great world. I love the court. Like I love the different courts. I think it's really fun that they're all season related.
yeah,
So yeah, like it would be so fun. And being a fae with like all the fucked up shit that kind of happens and all the crazy stuff they have to do, I think it's kind of like elves in Lord of the Rings. Also, I think they're also immortal, are they not? Do they not live forever unless they get murdered?
yeah. Also now that we're talking about that, I do not remember what the like lore is around their like deaths and stuff, but I want to say that that's correct because because they have spoilers. I am so sorry. They have a hard time conceiving children, and that's why
That's right. That's right.
they were like,
yeah, that's
you
right.
know?
That's right.
Yes.
Yep, you're right.
What is that called? Courts and their noble like people. ACOTAR. Looking it up right now because it's gonna drive me nuts.
Looking it up.
Oh, and there's also the Illyrian Mountains. There's the Western Isles.
Mm-hmm.
There's Valaris. If you want to live there.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I would if I could have a bookstore in Valeris. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be sick. That'd be
Yeah.
cool. Oh, the Solar Courts. Okay.
Yeah, because there's like a dawn court too, right? There's a dawn,
Yeah.
a day, and a night. I think.
Yeah, let me see if I can find.
I might need to reread the series.
Honestly,
Think
yeah.
about it right now.
My brain is like, since reading it, I'm just not.
Plus the new one's coming out supposedly
Yeah,
at some point.
supposedly.
Waiting for that news to drop.
It wasn't Thiessen, because that's who's in.
Is he
charge
the?
of
That's the
Dawn.
summer court.
That's Dawn
Oh.
Court. Yeah, Thiessen. So it must be Helios's summer.
Yeah, I think it was.
Huh? I was saying Tarquin. Who the fuck is Helios? Am I thinking of the wrong book?
No, I don't think so.
Actor.
Was he the
Helion.
Day Court?
Helion. I'm so fucking stupid. High Lord of the Day Court. Okay. Yeah.
Let's
The
go.
fuck?
That would be fun.
Yeah. Day Court. Day Court, sign me up.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I like Lucian's power, the fire wielding power. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm kind of biased. Maybe I'd pick that, but I'd love to live in the summer court. I wouldn't love to live in the night court. I think I'll say that I'm not I'm not. If I don't want bat wings, I'm gonna be honest. I don't want bat wings, so I'm gonna say no to that.
Yeah, I agree. I wasn't. Yeah. The only. Wow, I liked Azrael. I liked Cassian best, obviously.
Yeah,
fucking
Cassian's
Golden
good.
Retriever energy. I fucking love him. And then
Yeah.
we should really just have like a whole fucking episode on ACOTAR.
We should. We should.
'Cause
Yeah.
I could talk about this for
We
hours.
should.
But yeah, and the wings. I don't know. I don't think I could do it.
I'm not feeling it. Yeah.
I'm not feeling it.
Yeah. That's a good world, though. That's a good world for sure.
It is a good world, minus all the
And,
like messy
we were
stuff.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit off air, but like Throne of Glass, I think would be a harder world to live in because there's just so much fucking shit that goes on in that world. Like, I do not think I would enjoy that.
Yeah, I agree. And I considered not Sarah J. Maas related, but similar in thought. I considered Iron Flame as like, oh well, maybe no,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Because no,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not trying
Yeah.
to get killed in the first
that's
few days
that's
of
so
my
true.
freedom.
But you know what? I legit when I read Fourth Wing, little small spoiler for Fourth Wing. This is like in the first chapter. I was like, fuck this shit. I'd be a scribe any day of the week. You're
Yep.
telling me I can fucking read old ass scrolls all day? I'm in. Sign me the fuck up.
Exactly.
Yeah, sign me the fuck up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love that.
Absolutely.
And that kind of pairs into my next world, which I want to put a caveat on it because we both hate the author of Harry Potter, and I don't want to like push it. But the young me loved the books and the movies. It's really hard to say that I wouldn't live in this world, and I do think the work, outshines the author by about 1,000,000 degrees. And Harry Potter is the world that I would love to live in. I'm an academic at heart, so anything that's like academic related, I'm super into. But when I was a kid, I really wanted my letter to Hogwarts. It's even like the first day of school at Hogwarts is my birthday, September 1st.
Oh,
I
that's
was like,
cool.
well, how cool would it be if I got the letter like on September 1st? And my house, I actually think Haley and I have the same house. It's a little shocking, but I think we're both Slytherins,
Yep.
are we not? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And people think I'm a Ravenclaw. I'm a Slytherin.
Yeah.
I hate to say I'm a Slytherin.
Yeah.
Proud Slytherin.
I wouldn't have pegged you for a Slytherin, honestly.
I'll caveat this. The first time I took it, which I think is the real time, because I think if you take it again, you're probably gonna get a different answer.
Yeah.
But I took it once and I got Slytherin. And I was like, this is a little weird. I took it again, I got Ravenclaw. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna own up to Slytherin. I am a little bit like I do like to stir the pot a little bit. And I do think I can be a little bit deceivious in times. So wait, is that a word? Deceivious? Yeah, that's a
It is
word.
now.
So I'm going to lean into it. And so, yeah, I'm a total Slytherin. My wife is a Hufflepuff. So we are the
Aw.
Slytherin Hufflepuff like duo, which is very categorical. So yeah, I would love Harry Potter. I would love to go to class every day and just learn about how to be a wizard.
Hell
I think
yeah.
it'd be really fun.
Hell yeah.
It's a cool world. It's a cool world.
Yes, I agree. My husband and I are both Slytherins, so we're just a Slytherin ass house. But yeah, I think that'd be a sick and I think also we're all of us Potterheads are just waiting for our letters still. I'm sure there's probably 40-year-olds that are like, yo, can I I'll still take a letter, thank you.
Yeah, what's up? What's up?
And also side note, kind of tangenty but still relevant. I downloaded the Harry Potter game on PS5 or whatever when it came out. Oh, so good.
Oh, the Legacy, Hogwarts Legacy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit was fun. I was definitely
Was
living
it?
my yeah, it was fun. I mean, there were some things that were definitely I wish would have been a little better and more world building-y, more Sims meets Harry Potter, less I don't even know what other games there are meets Harry Potter. Because you're still playing a story, so you don't really
Yeah.
get to do as much by yourself and more But regardless, I was like, yes, this is my dream. I am living my full like Harry Potter realization right now. But yeah, I think that'd be so fun, like such a fun ass world, and also like there's so much shit you can do. That's the other thing is like,
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those worlds where it probably would never get old because you're always constantly doing new things, and yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's
What
true.
animal would you have, and what would your Patronus be?
I would certainly have a cat.
Mm,
Um, an owl would be cool. It's hard to not justify an owl because of like how they deliver the mail.
yeah.
So that's a caveat. But yeah, I would love to have a cat. My Patronus, I think my official Patronus is a seal,
Mm,
which is pretty crazy. I think I'd be more of like I do like going camping and stuff, so I think it'd be more like a forest related, like maybe like a deer
mm.
or um, some sort of forest critter.
Like a
I
bobcat.
think would be yeah, like a bobcat, yeah, or yeah, something like that. I think would be more in my wheelhouse than something else. What about you?
Yeah. My so when I took the quiz, my Patronus was a Siberian cat, but it was like a house cat.
Hmm.
And which is hilarious to me. And then I don't know, I feel like the animal is so hard because they really don't give you a lot of like well, okay, I'm talking like in the realm of like the movies. You don't really get to see
Like the
like
pets, right?
yeah, the pets. You don't get to
Yeah.
see like anything cool. I'm sure that you probably could have whatever the fuck pet like
I think it was actually only you could only
only
have
have
either an owl, a cat,
a
a
toad.
rat, or a toad.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd be rule breaking. I'd be bringing in like a goddamn falcon or something. I don't know. Like, just
Falcon.
saying. Just saying.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Um, but if I had to
Maybe my
pick,
Patronus would be a bird. My Patronus might be
yeah,
a bird because I
yeah,
do like birds. Yeah,
yeah, you could be like an eagle. That'd be cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'd have an owl.
That just
I
scared
think
me.
because
Yeah,
fun fact about owls, they are silent when they move through the
that's
air.
true.
So
That's true.
owl every time.
They're creepy.
Yeah.
They're creepy looking
They,
things. They
I
creep me out actually,
fucking
just a
I
little
want
bit.
an owl so bad.
Have you ever seen like when you lift up like their body and they
There's
have
all
these
legs.
crazy ass long legs?
Yeah.
It's like, oh god,
I
what
love
the
that.
hell?
I
That's so
love that.
creepy.
They're like surprise legs. I love it. They're
They're
like,
surprise legs. Yeah, they're
yeah.
creepy, creepy.
You're like, oh,
Yeah,
an owl's all body. Nope. Nope.
yeah,
Just legs. I
yeah.
love it.
It's all legs. All legs. Yeah, it's hard to. I think that's another world that most bookish people are into.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
especially of our age, like everybody was
Yes.
reading Harry Potter, so
Yes.
it's there.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree.
What is another world that you'd love to live in, Haley?
So another world that I would love to live in is specifically. So this was a series. Is the Hades x Persephone saga by Scarlett St. Clair, and I haven't read the very last book. So like I don't know how everything turns out. But like from the books that I read, because I still need to read the last one. It's I think I purchased it and I still just haven't read it. It's whatever. Um, it's basically Greek mythology realized into the like modern world, and each um I can't get over. Sorry, Cody, you're like a floating head, and it's like cracking me up right now. Oh my gosh.
Because I'm sitting in the dark because my stupid ass lights in this dorm shut off every 10 minutes. I'm so pissed about it that I just gave up.
It was just I like glanced down and it was just like a floating head. But anyways. So anyway, it's a Greek, and these like Greek gods, the spoilers, I'm so sorry. Skip ahead if you don't want spoilers for this series. But essentially, the Greek gods are like humans don't know about them. Like they don't know, but like they're like for instance, Hades is a like really well known like club owner, and they all, like, each god slash goddess, all have these, like you worship them in the same kind of way that, like, their gods were worshipped, but, like, with, like, a modern twist. I don't know. I feel like I'm not explaining this very well, but you'll read the books. They're really good. But anyways, I would want to live in this world specifically as a god and or goddess and or an offspring of the gods and or goddesses, and or as someone human maybe that can also see them as gods and goddesses, and I would want to be a friend because I think that'd be sick as fuck.
Yeah. No, that sounds like a great world for sure.
Yeah, it's really cool. Minus, like, the horrible shit that happens that I'm not gonna say because it's spoilery, but yeah. Other than that, sick. Hell yeah. Sign me up. I want to be friends with a
Being
god.
a Greek god. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I love, oh my god, who is it? Apollo, I think, is one of the, like, side slash main character. He plays, like, some pretty big roles in, like, some of the character development that happens. But I love his character. He's so cute. And Hermes, I think, is also the other character that I'm thinking of that is also really cool in the series. I'm not a big fan of him as a, like, his historical portrayals. But his character, the way he's portrayed in these books, in his Greek godness, I think he's actually not is he a god? I don't remember. Anyways.
Yeah, he's a god.
Okay. I'm gonna say my knowledge of Greek lore is escaping me. But, yeah, I think it'd just be so fun. And, like, they're, like, little, I don't know, they're, like, little freaking, like, frat party people. And I just love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would be cool because going back to musicals, Hadestown is a very popular musical that, you know, I guess it's not as popular as it used to be. It's kind of a few years old, but it's all about the Orpheus Eurydice tragedy. And so a lot of those characters like Hades, Persephone, Hermes, they're all in it too. So it would be pretty fun to live in that world for a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Don't want to be Orpheus or Eurydice though.
Yeah.
They don't have a good ending.
Yeah. Yeah. And some of the things that transpire in the books are very, like, betrayal-y. So there's that.
Okay.
So
okay.
definitely don't want to be. But hell, listen, I also just, I guess, something about me. I love Persephone. I loved her Greek mythology story, for lack of a better term. In general, growing up, and then, like, reading her story portrayal type deal in this series. I want to be her best friend. Like, she's such a good, like, I love her. And also Hades is fucking hot, so, like, there's that. So, what, you know, the portrayal of Hades in this book. I don't know about, like,
that's so funny.
Greek god, but yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, I haven't read the book, so I can't say for sure, but I think it'd be fun to live in it, for sure. Yeah. It
would be. What's your next world?
Well, I'm going to change one that I have because I was thinking earlier today, and I forgot to change it in my list. But another world that I'd love to live in, and there's a big caveat with this. Have you heard of the Scythe trilogy? I don't know if we've talked about it on the pod or not.
I haven't, but it's on my TBR.
It's so good. So for those of us who know, like, it's good. It's good. There's a trilogy by Neal Shusterman called Scythe. Scythe trilogy, that's the first book name as well. And I think there's a collection of short stories, and I heard a rumor that he has another book coming out in it. And the premise of the story is that humanity has solved the mortality, so all humans now live forever. But in order to keep population from skyrocketing out of control, they have created this thing called the Scythedom. And these people they dress up as scythes, and they go around and they have to kill so many people a year to keep the population from growing.
Shit.
And what's really cool is all the scythes are named after, like, famous scientists or like historical figures. And so there's a Scythe Faraday, who's like the big, he's kind of like the main Scythe of the story. And there's a Scythe Darwin and a Scythe Curie. And so it's got a lot of cool science references to it. And it's very much like, the have and the have nots. Like the Scythes can do whatever they want, and they can grant immortality to people who do certain things. And the way they choose they call it gleaning in the series. And the way they choose to glean people is dependent on what the Scythe does. So one of the main Scythes, he goes off of statistics from like the mortality rate. So he's like, whatever percent of infants died every year. So that's how many infants he gleans every year, which is fucked up. But like, I guess I could see it,
Yeah, no, yeah. In a world where everyone lives forever, you'd overpopulate the earth.
And then another Scythe, like, he decides to do whatever he wants, and he kills more people than he needs to because he's an asshole. And they all wear robes of a specific color. And it sounds like a really fun world, but the caveat is I'd have to be a Scythe because I don't want to get got.
Fair.
But I guess if you live it to be forever, then it's pretty cool. But it was a really cool story. The trilogy's great, and a bunch of shit goes down. But yeah, it'd be a fun world to live in for sure. I think it'd be super cool to be a Scythe.
Is it this book?
It is. Yep.
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's Scythe Faraday on the cover. He's
okay.
Yeah.
That book's been sitting in not on my Goodreads, but on my Apple bookstore for a year now.
It's really good. I read another book by him called Unwind back right after I graduated high school. It was really good, and I didn't like the rest of the series, unfortunately, but I read Scythe kind of at a whim, trying to give him another shot, and it's so freaking good. Just a great trilogy. So yeah, that's the world I would live in for sure.
Man,
if I'm a Scythe.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's honestly also the book sounds so good, and now I want to read it even more.
Yeah, no, I think you'd like it. I think you'd really like it.
Dang.
There is a romance component to it as well. It's
okay.
It's a teen book, so it's not like romance on the page type of thing, but it's probably like a 1 on the romance scale, on our high scale. But yeah, it's good. Yeah,
that sounds good.
Are we on your last one, Hailey?
Yes.
Yeah. What's your last one?
So my last one is, and I think I've talked about this book before, many episodes ago, but it's called Their Vampire Queen series, by Joelle Sue Burkhart, and I hope I'm pronouncing that author's name correctly, but there's like hella books in the series, but the premise is that I don't remember if they're called vampires in the books, but essentially they're like vampire-esque beings. They need blood to survive. But each it's modern. It's a modern day, which is cool, but these like queens are like split up into like different parts of the world, and they like rule essentially over like different parts. So there's like a New York one, there's like a South America one, there's a Midwest one, because they have like the US sectioned into like they have the US sectioned into sections, but they have different rulers. So the queens, and it's all like very like matriarchy type. There's no like kings, but it's tied to not like not mythology. What's the word? Like each. God, I'm doing such a horrible explanation of this. But each section, so like say you're in South America, you have like one of the queens has like Quetzalcoatl. So like that, I don't know what that's called, like gods type mythology. I feel like that's not the right word that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm not entirely sure if I know that word.
So Quetzalcoatl is, and I'm probably butchering the way that that's pronounced, but it's I'm gonna do a little bit of googling real quick because I feel like
Okay.
I'm pronouncing that. Okay, so Quetzalcoatl, also known as the feathered serpent, is a major deities. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
In the mythologies, of the Aztec, Maya, and Toltecs of ancient Mesoamerica. So, for instance, so that queen has like shapeshifters essentially of those like deities, and they get their power from doing the deed with these beings, and they're like soulmated essentially, and like the more deity type soulmate beings that you have, the more powerful you are, because they're like your like guard or like your knights essentially. And oh my god, it's just such a cool, like I love the way that the author like integrated I mean, this is also a very like heavily romanced book. It's got some, it's a 5+ on the honey scale. There's some stuff going on. There's like and like each knight that the queen takes on is essentially like they have relations or non-relations with other members within their like circle. And yeah, I think that that'd be like a cool, if I was either like a part of like that family, like the nobility family, or a queen race. I think that that'd just be such a like interesting world to live in.
Yeah.
And it's a really good series. It's probably one of my favorite series that I've read. But yeah, and there's just like so much mythology of all different types sprinkled in within it, and like the personification of each of the deities is really cool as well. I don't know, it's just a cool ass freaking world, and I think it'd be fun to live in and participate in.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have we talked about this on the pod before? I don't think we have.
Not to this extent. I think I've talked about
Okay.
it in like terms of like the honey scale for sure, but
Okay.
not as like a synopsis of the books.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a really cool premise. I like the idea.
Yeah.
That'd be a really cool world to live in, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds really crazy.
Yeah.
Getting your power from sex, I think,
Yeah.
is like intense.
Yeah. Well, and they like drink each other's blood also, like because there's like a vampire like type of
True. Yeah.
vibe to it.
True.
So like also you're like a vampire type of thing situation.
Which I'm okay. I'm kind of like I don't know. I feel like vampire books are like coming back in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, hell yeah. I love a good not necessarily a, well, I don't know if they're books, but like Underworld, that shit's my jam. I love Underworld.
Oh yeah.
It's probably one of my
Yeah.
favorite like things. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Hell yeah. So yeah. What's your last one?
Yeah. So my last one is a kind of a deep cut, but this book is very near and dear to my heart. We haven't talked about it yet because it's kind of a I don't want to say a kid's book, but it's definitely like a middle school-ish book, probably middle grade book. And the world is Inkheart by Cornelia Funke. And the reason I choose it is because this was like one of my favorite books to read as a kid. I used to reread it all the time. And the premise is that the world is basically our world, except there's some magic components to it. And one of the components is this the stories about this girl whose dad is a very, very good narrator, like a very, very good reader of stories. And he's so good that he actually pulled characters out of the story he was reading to his daughter one night into our world. And then his wife and a few other people, I think, got sucked into the story. of the world that they were reading. And it was like this kind of fantasy, kind of magical element to it. So they called him Silver Tongue because of how good of a narrator he was. And so he has this power that he now never reads stories out loud because he's afraid that he'll suck people into a story and suck other people out of the story. And it was just really cool, really fun idea. I absolutely loved this book. It turned into a trilogy, and the trilogy, in my opinion, didn't really do a whole lot for me. But the first book, Inkheart, is really good. And I would just love to be able to jump into other stories. So I guess this is kind of like my cheat because I can use this to go jump into other stories, but it does seem like there's some repercussions to it. But yeah, I just love kind of our world, but with a magical twist to it. And I think it would be really fun to have this power and to be able to do it.
That'd be so cool.
And the world, I forget the name of the world that they jump into, but it's also a pretty cool world with a lot of magic to it. So yeah, it's definitely like really fun.
Yeah, that reminds me of, I never read the series, but the Spiderwick series.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it is kind of that same bent.
Yeah, that series always seemed really cool. But man, yeah, that'd be cool to like insert yourself into wherever.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be so
But
cool.
I guess if you're the reader, you can't. I don't think he was able to jump into the world. So I don't know.
So you
Maybe
have to
not,
be
but...
narrating the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, it's definitely a book that like I associate it with my childhood, very similar to Harry Potter. It obviously didn't get as much attention as Harry Potter, but it was really, really good. They did turn it into a movie that turned out to be very bad, but yeah, it is what it is.
I feel like they did that with a lot of our like childhood books, like series.
They did,
like,
because I think everyone was like, "Oh, Harry Potter did it, so now we should do it." And shouldn't have done it for a lot of them.
Yeah, like Aragon. Yeah. Oh God, that's kind of another.
I almost put
world.
that on the list.
Same.
I almost put that on the list.
Same.
Yeah.
Because I was like, hell yeah, dragons, but like not Game of Thrones, because hell no.
No, not Game of Thrones. Yeah. Yeah, Aragon was treated dirty by that movie.
That movie was so...
It was bad.
I was so mad. Bad. I was so excited for it, and it
but,
just not.
Yeah. I will say I read the first book recently.
Oh, really?
Like maybe, it's been a while, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. No offense to the author, Christopher Paolini, who was like 12 when he wrote this book. It feels like a 12-year-old wrote the book, and I did not realize it at the time, but it's a little different.
Listen, I think we were just so like I speak for myself, but like as a kid, getting some like dragon books.
Yeah.
Top tier, because there wasn't a lot to like. I don't remember hardly any like dragon. They weren't as popular as they are now, for sure. But
no, they weren't. No.
So I think
I read. I've actually never finished that series.
Me
the fourth
neither.
book I've never finished. And I reread the first 3 with the intent to finish it, and I never did. And the second and third one, I mean, it was good enough that I could read them. So, but yeah, it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
The first one, anyways.
Oh, that's such a bummer.
Yeah, but I got some nostalgia out of remembering because I was like in middle school when I read the first one, so I remembered like where I was when I was reading certain parts, and so that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Other than that,
I think I was in 5th grade when I read the first one. 5th grade or 6th grade? Can't remember. One of the two.
Yeah, I think I was maybe
long time ago.
7th. Yeah.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Man.
Well,
some good worlds.
Cool. Good worlds. Yeah, I could think. I was even while we were talking, I was like, man, I didn't talk about this world, and I totally
I know.
There's a lot of worlds out there that we jump into.
Hell yeah. Any like honorable mentions, just like off the cuff?
I do have one. It's very similar to Inkheart, and it's called. Did I talk about Legend of the Lattes on the pod before? I think I might have talked about
Yeah,
the
maybe.
sequel.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
And it's about this girl, this orc warrior
Mm-hmm.
mercenary, who she saved up enough money to retire early, and
Mm-hmm.
she opens up a coffee shop in this
Mm-hmm.
like little tiny town in this fantasy world. I was like, if I could be an orc running a coffee shop, that would pretty much set me up for life. I think
Yeah.
I would love it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely an honorable mention for sure.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I have two, and one's the Marked series, which I don't remember what the actual series. The House of Night, I think, is what it is. It's a young adult vampire series, and I never finished the whole series because I was reading it at the time that the books were coming out, and they weren't all out, and now they are, and there's like 12 books or some damn thing. But the books that I did read, really good. So if you want like a, I don't know, kind of romance YA vampire, like better than Twilight in my opinion.
Yeah.
So good. And then also, oh my god, I just had it now. It escaped my brain. Oh, the Uglies. I don't know. They're the Uglies series.
Oh,
I read them in
yeah.
like 7th grade, 8th grade, and not for the fact
Yeah.
that like I would want to be in the world, but simply because I would want to like witness like what the world was like, you know, because the way that I read it was just so like, oh god, it's so dystopian and crazy, but
Yeah.
such good books.
I was I was trying to think to like, is there a horror world I'd want to live in? And I couldn't think of one that I'd be like, I really don't want to live in any of the worlds
Yeah,
that
no,
I've
thank
read.
you.
So it's like, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good. I'm
we're
sorry.
No, thank you. Fearing for my life? No.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I could name one off the top of my head, but there's definitely like probably some sci-fi worlds I'd live in.
Mm-hmm.
Especially ones where like society has advanced enough to where we're like on Mars or something.
Yeah.
Um, I think it would be really cool. Because I'm in New York right now, there's this book that I read by N.K. Jemisin, who I mentioned last week, or maybe the week before. Um, she wrote a book called The City We Became, and it's about how cities, when they reach a certain population, they morph out a person that basically represents the city.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, all the big cities of the world have a person that is, like, basically the entity of the city. And New York ends up with 5 for each of the boroughs because of how like distinct each borough is, and I thought it was a really cool premise and idea, and that would be kind of fun to be like the entity of a city.
Yeah.
Would be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
So I'd maybe pick that.
That would be cool. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's a good premise. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, if the listeners, if you happen to have a world that we haven't mentioned, which I'm sure there's dozens out there that we could easily talk about, feel free to shout out and let us know what worlds you want to live in, because
Hell
we'd love
yeah.
to hear it. And you could do that by giving us a little email message at booksandthebeastpod@gmail.com. You can also post on Instagram at booksandthebeastpod. We'd love to interact with you, so please, you can email us, Instagram. I promise we don't bite. Let us know what you think,
Hell yeah.
for sure. And if you don't want to talk to us, but you do want to support us, you can give us a review on your podcast listening app. We'd love to have that too. It does help us get more listeners. And we are slowly but surely growing a hive mind, so I'm excited to continue the growth. And this is the best way to help us grow, because as you might have guessed, we are doing this for free.
Yes.
So it does make us feel good when we see those 5-star reviews. So feel free to give those review outs for us. We appreciate it. Yeah. And I always got to say thank you to the American Indie for the use of the song Rendezvous. It's a bop, intro and outro for our podcast. We love them, and they love us, even though they don't know we exist probably, but they love us too.
Yes. We love them.
Yeah.
They should know it.
We love them. They should know it. Yeah, totally. Okay, Hailey, anything else before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this literary journey as much as we did. If you're buzzing with excitement, don't forget to subscribe, email us, and leave a high five worthy review on your podcast listening app. Until next time, happy reading, and may your shelves be filled with tales as enchanting as a blooming garden. Keep the buzz alive, and we'll catch you in the next chapter. Bye for now.